My name is Marian Bienvenue, and I'm an educator at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum. And I'd like to welcome you to another virtual version of BASF's Kids Lab. Are you ready to do a fun chemistry experiment with us today? Now, when you think about chemistry, you might think about medicine, plastic, disinfecting cleaning products, or even the gas in your car. But does chemistry make you think of food? Well, chemistry is the science of matter, and food is made of matter, isn't it? How about cooking or baking? Is there chemistry involved in the culinary arts? Well, let's find out. I actually have a little problem I would like for you to help me solve. And it is the best kind of problem. A cupcake problem! You see, sometimes my cupcakes look and taste different each time I bake them. I think I need to do some scientific investigation to find out why that's happening. And we can't start our scientific investigation without first mentioning Kids Lab. BASF's Kids Lab is a fun, engaging, award-winning program offered in over 30 countries throughout the world. The goal of Kids Lab is to foster science literacy by encouraging children to explore the relevance and importance of chemistry in our daily lives. BASF wants to inspire you to be the next generation of scientists, engineers, problem solvers, and critical thinkers to lead us into the future. And for those of you who have participated in Kids Lab before, what's the first thing we always do? I think I almost heard you guys say it. That is right. Step one is always safety. A smart scientist is a safe scientist. Now, before we get started, I'm going to put on my safety glasses to prevent any ingredients from getting into my eyes. And I already have on my BASF apron to keep my clothes clean and protected. If you don't have safety glasses or an apron at home, don't worry. You can still do this experiment with help from an adult. Just be extra careful, okay? Today, we are going to make what we call wacky cupcakes. Now, this recipe was popular in the early 1900s, at a time in the history of our country when eggs, milk, and butter were very, very expensive or hard to find. So, this recipe brought sweetness and celebration to families even when times were very, very difficult. These cupcakes are budget baking at its best, since we all like to save money, right? I know I sure do. Also, there are no dairy products or eggs in these cupcakes. So, this is a great recipe for anyone with a food allergy or someone following a vegan diet. Okay, back to the problem I need you to help me solve. Sometimes my cupcakes are moist and tender, but sometimes they're kind of tough. And then sometimes they are light and fluffy and taller, but sometimes they come out of the oven kind of flat, more like a pancake. I asked a friend of mine for some advice. She is also a scientist and a very experienced baker. She gave me a few hints on how to investigate my flat Stanley the cupcake problem. She suggested I do 3 different trial batches to solve this problem. And she also said something about precise measurements. That makes me think I should follow this recipe very carefully, step by step, in the same way that scientists follow directions, step by step. Can I tell you a secret? I don't always follow the recipe exactly how it's written. I'm wondering if that could be part of my problem. What do you think? All right, let's set up our 3 different trial batches. My first one I am going to call my control. Now, in an experiment, the control is unchanged and constant. It remains the same throughout the entire experiment. We compare everything to the control. So, let's mix the ingredients exactly like the recipe says. Remember, precise measurements. Oh, wow. Looking at this recipe, it looks like there's a lot of math involved in baking too, right? Well, first, we need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now, remember, when dealing with heat or fire in an experiment, always ask an adult for help. In one large mixing bowl, add 3 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 cups of sugar. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Notice how I scooped and scraped my dry ingredients in my measuring cup and spoons. That's how we know we have a precise measurement. Now, carefully mix up those ingredients. By mixing up our dry ingredients first, we are evenly dispersing them to make our batter better. For our wet ingredients, we are going to measure with our measuring spoons and this measuring cup. Now, we can add 2 cups of water. Be sure to check the amount of water at eye level to make sure the measurement is precise and exact. All right, 2 cups. Now add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, 10 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Vinegar in cupcakes? Guess we're going to have to trust the recipe. Now mix all of your ingredients together until it forms a batter and most of the lumps are smooth. All right, our control batter is complete. Now, I've already mixed up all of the same ingredients in this bowl right here, but left out one variable, the oil. Do you think that by changing one variable, it will make a difference? If so, predict what you think will happen to the cupcakes if I leave out the oil. And in this bowl, I have mixed up all of the same ingredients, but left out a different variable, baking soda. Will that make a difference? If so, predict what will happen to our cupcakes if we leave out the baking soda. So, this cupcake batter is labeled our control. This one is labeled no oil with the oil ingredient as a variable. And this one is labeled no baking soda with the baking soda ingredient as another variable. Now, I'm going to put a small amount of each kind of batter into, a cupcake tin and place it in the oven to bake. It is amazing to discover that baking cupcakes is a chemically based process. Whenever we bake any type of food, the recipe's basic ingredients are involved in several chemical reactions that tie different ingredients together to form the finished product. As we bake these wacky cupcakes, we are producing an endothermic chemical reaction that hopefully changes our ooey gooey batter matter into a fluffy, delicious, edible treat. I cannot wait to taste our cupcakes. Looks like we need to wait a little longer. That must mean that our cupcakes are done. Oh, I'm so excited. Now, when you try this experiment at home, be very careful and remember to ask an adult to help put the cupcakes into the oven and take them out of the oven. And make sure everyone is being super safe by wearing oven mitts. All right, oh, they smell so delicious. Oh, but I can already see or observe a difference in our 3 cupcakes. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so this beautiful one is our control with all of the proper and amount of ingredients. And this one is missing oil. This one is missing baking soda. Can you tell the difference between the 3? Let's observe. How does this one look? Yes, that's right. Our control looks nice and fluffy. I would definitely eat this cupcake. How does this one look? Yes, this one is missing oil and it looks very, very dry. That's because oil is a fat, and fat is in baked goods and makes them more moist and tender. Oh no! How does this one look? Oh, this one that is missing the baking soda looks like the flat Stanley of cupcakes. I wonder why. Have you ever tried adding baking soda and vinegar together? Let's check in with my good friend and LASM Education Coordinator, Miss Chandra, for a quick lesson on chemical reactions.
Hello, I'm Miss Chandra. Let's have some more fun with chemistry. What do you predict will happen when we mix together baking soda and vinegar? Let's see for ourselves. Let's mix 2 tablespoons of baking soda and 1 cup of vinegar. To make things interesting, let's add a few drops of red food coloring as well. Now let's observe by watching very closely. Oh wow, that's amazing, it bubbles up. Is that the result you predicted? Oh. Let's think for a moment. Why do you think that happened? The chemical name for baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. Vinegar is a combination of water and acetic acid. Both substances contain chemicals, so we combine the baking soda and the vinegar, a chemical reaction results. And it's the carbon dioxide gas that makes the bubbles. If there is no baking soda in our cupcake, those bubbles will not be created, leaving our cupcake thick and dense instead of light and fluffy. I think vinegar was our magic scientific ingredient. The vinegar reacts with the baking soda and helps the cake to rise. I love science. Science is so much fun. Back to you, Miss Marion.
Wow! So there's actually chemistry in baking. Who knew there was so much science in food? Now, speaking of food, I want to introduce you to a good friend of ours from the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank.
I'm Mike Manning from the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Food banks all across the country are important to people because it provides meals to those that cannot afford it, those that may be in need. So it's important today to think about that and think about the child sitting on either side of you. They may be in need and they may be benefiting from the assistance of a food bank. Giving a little food can make a big difference in someone's life.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you conducted your own chemistry cooking experiment, we would love to see it. Show us your results by asking an adult to tag BASF and LASM on Facebook or Instagram. And be sure to mention #STEM@BASF in your post as well. Also, let us know which city, state, or even country that you are viewing from today. If it's difficult to get all of these ingredients you need for this experiment, but you have access to the internet, hop over to BASF's virtual lab. follow the link on your screen and look for the experiment Chemistry Lab Bakery. Follow Morph in the lab to virtually conduct an experiment similar to the one that we tried today. Had fun today? Come visit us at the Louisiana Art and Science Museum in person. Also, be sure to check out our digital learning platform, virtual-lasm.org, for more videos, activities, and experiments just like this one. Thanks to Mr. Mike from the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank for joining us today. And thanks to our amazing partners at BASF for making this presentation possible. Bye, friends.